Good morning. It is mediation day, and I slept terribly. It's one of those days where I feel like I didn't sleep at all. I got into bed and I was stressed and my mind was racing and running and worrying and thinking about all the things I need to remember for today and being like worried that I'm gonna forget something, that something will come up in mediation and later I'll be like, oh God, why didn't I say that? And why didn't I have that at the ready? And the night just ticked by. The bed felt too warm and I felt sweaty. It wasn't a good night. Oh no, a bird with a hurt wing. Is that a terrible omen I don't like that. Oh, I don't feel well rested. My face looks great. I look freaking exhausted. I don't know how good or not good my paperwork is. I don't know how to have a sense of if I did it well or not, if it's complete enough, or if I'm gonna get there and she's gonna be like, what did you do for the past 3 weeks? I don't know, I tried. I don't know, maybe I just need to get totally stressed out for mediation to feel like I'm paying it the proper respect. Maybe it's not that big a deal. If it's not all done today, we make another appointment and we mediate some more. I'm not on a timeline. I'm not moving away. I'm not trying to buy property in Northern California. I did the best I could. In the face of not wanting to be here, not wanting to do this, I've done the best I can. My stomach's in knots. When you don't sleep particularly well or very much, and then everything just seems a little crazy, like lights are just a little bit too bright and it's just a little uncomfortable to be. That's where I'm right now. It's not comfortable. I think once I get there and once I get parked, it'll be what it is. I think the stress comes from having time in which I could do more stuff, but not knowing what more stuff I can do or should do, what's complete enough. Will there be things that we go over and she's like, why didn't you do this? And I'm like, oh crap, I don't know. I missed it, or I didn't know to do it. Everything is just causing me stress, and it's so not me. This whole process is stressful, and what I don't like and what I'm afraid of in reviewing these videos in time is that I'm just gonna think I was a complainer the whole time, but I'm not. I get a lot of stuff done every day. I'm efficient and I'm good and I'm stable, and this whole process has unsettled me. It's made me not who I am, which stinks because it makes me a less attractive version of myself, and I was never looking for other people, but now that I am looking for other people, I don't like the version of me I am as much as who I used to be. There's all these negatives that come from being broken up with that they just hit you from all sides. The version of me that was married and happy was probably way more attractive people than the broken version of me that is now. Super. That's a great byproduct. Do you mind if I just keep talking to you until it's time to go? I'm so freaked and stressed and amped and I have to go put my friend's cat away. I just feel nauseous. I don't want to do this. I'm scared. Somebody just called to give me a pep talk and I'm so grateful. It's so important to have people just remind me of what my values are right now and what I'm doing and what I need to remember to say and not say, where to focus and where not to back down, because I just feel really broken. I just feel weak. I don't like that my wife is my opponent, that she treats me badly, and then in response I have to be cold and shut off. I don't like the necessity of having to imagine a life with somebody else when I really just loved our life. I'm not a good negotiator ever. That's just not my strength. I don't have to negotiate for my job. I just have to do good work. And to negotiate against somebody that part of me is still in love with, it's terrible. I'm not doing anything remarkable today. It's just my experience. But my experience is unpleasant. And everything just makes me kind of sad lately. When businesses close, it makes me sad because somebody's dream failed. To my right it was the Tomorrow Project, helping women create futures today. And I always kind of thought that was a cool thing. And the sign's been taken down and there's a for lease sign up. So someone's vision to do good for women stopped. And that makes me sad. Just empathetically, I feel bad for them. And I hate being so affected by everything right now. Everything is just so raw. Is there a good outlet for that rawness? Is there a way to appreciate it that in the future, when I don't know, jaded or less raw, will I be like, oh God, when I went through the breakup, I really appreciated something. It's not like now I'm like, oh, the smell of flowers is just the most amazing thing ever, or the taste of popcorn. The most amazing thing has been getting to ride. learning to ride and the connection with people at the barn and the animals. And I don't think that's because of my breakup. Okay, the cat is fine. God, the panic just hit. It hit hard. Like, I'm freaking out. And I don't know what I should do. Like, I don't know how to shake it off. I don't know if I should drink coffee or not. I don't know if that's gonna key me up. I kind of feel like I'm gonna throw up. And bear in mind, she was in love with me. She told me I'm the nicest person she knows. Like, I'm the greatest person she knows. Like me. I'm all these things, yet I'm terrified of her right now. I'm scared of how this thing is gonna go. The fact that she held me in such high esteem and haven't done anything, and now she's treating me like this. And I don't know if I'll make peace with it someday, but it's really hard to come to grips with. Maybe it's my bad. Maybe when she said those things and I believed them, that was my fault. Oh, Ken, stupid. You shouldn't believe her when she tells you you're great. And what I don't want is in the future, if somebody pays me a compliment like that, to be like, oh, whatever. I want that high from being in love. I want to believe that somebody likes me. I want a hug. I want some kind of physical affection from somebody. I want to rub somebody's back. I want to give someone a massage. I want contact so badly. And instead of that, I get the opposite of that. I'll get the person I most want contact from being stony, icy next to me for an extended period of time. And there will be anger from her, and disgust from her, and frustration from her, and desperation. And I will have to work to keep my shit together, to not be affected by her, to fight for me, which will make me look bad in her eyes, which shouldn't matter. Shouldn't matter. What she thinks of me should not matter anymore. She clearly doesn't want me, so it doesn't matter. None of it matters. Nothing matters about how she feels about me. She thinks it does. You know, she said the thing the other week about if I'm trying to wait her out, she's not coming back. That made me laugh and made my therapist laugh. And it was funny then, but this morning, in my freaked out, desperate state, it makes me sad. Because I wish I did wait her out, and I wish she had an epiphany and came back to me and was like, holy shit, we need to do so much work, or I need to do so much work to make up for all this shit I did, but you're the most important thing in my life. But I'm not. I'm not important to her. I'm an obstacle. I'm something she's done with and discarded and wants out of her life, and she wants to move on and be done with me. And all this stress and sleeplessness and paperwork and crap is to help her be done with me. Hey, if you're watching this and thinking about blindsiding somebody, don't. Just be honest, be open, because this kind of thing, this doesn't make any sense. I'll see you in a little bit. I am literally shaking like when he was at the vet the other day. Like, my hands are shaking. I was standing and my legs were shaking. I'm just nervous that I'm not doing it right, that I'm forgetting something, that I'm gonna get there and they're gonna be like, the hell is all this? What did you do? I'm nervous to see her. I'm nervous to interact. I'm nervous to argue and haggle and call her bluff and upset her. I think that's part of it. You spend so many years trying to take care of somebody and trying to make them good. Going into something where you know they're gonna be upset because she thinks I'm dumb. I think that's part of it. That makes me sad too. She thinks I'm dumb and she's trying to take advantage of me. That's not very loving. A lot rides on this meeting in terms of my financial okayness, whether we'll figure out spousal support or whether I'll have to hire an attorney. A lot will be revealed and talked about. While I am an optimist, I can't imagine any scenario where it goes well. You know, if she holds the opinion right now that we should be able to just walk away, she takes hers and I take mine, and I hold the opinion that I'm deserving of spousal support for a while, those things are at odds with each other. And she's looking forward to a future of barn ownership that I think is going to require some capital. And since she's been pretty darn money-oriented since shortly after she broke up with me, I can't see all of a sudden her being generous. So this isn't going to go well. And I think my curiosity gets the better of me because I think about him and I wonder, how could he watch her do this and think, oh, she's okay, she's great. But then I realize she's the victim and I'm the bad guy. And then I wonder how she's casting me as the bad guy. But what's her story to him? Did she know for a long time that she was just done with me? I just need to keep remembering the things she's done. Every step of the way here, she's acted in her best interests. It's never been for me. She thinks it's for kindness. She didn't serve me with divorce papers because of kindness. No, she didn't serve me because she doesn't want her financials disclosed. She staged his house with stuff from our house. She did this whole thing knowing she had feelings for it. Like, she's done it all. She has surgery on Friday. She's probably nervous for that, because who wouldn't be nervous for surgery? I feel weird about that, because when she had surgery last time, I sat in that room where people wait while their loved ones have surgery, and I worried, and I texted her family and stayed in touch and let them know where she was, and if, you know, when I talked to the doctor, and if she was okay. I feel like I should be part of this. I feel like bookends, you know, but I guess the bookends are farther out. He was there when she physically broke her leg, so now he'll be there when she's physically done with the leg break. And in the midst of it all, my impulse is to today recognize that she'll have surgery and wish her well, but in being consistent with how she's behaved in all this, she doesn't wish me well in anything. Any of the things I've done or gone through, she hasn't checked on after the fact. It's weird that I'm getting divorced a few blocks from where I got married. I don't know if that's poetry or just another coincidence. But I think when this is all over, I'll probably just be done with La Jolla and think, I don't need to go to La Jolla anymore. I had a whole relationship that spanned La Jolla. I keep thinking about being true to yourself. Like, how do you be true to yourself? Well, I read about it and I hear about it all the time, but what's my take on being true to myself? For the duration of making these vlogs, it's just recognizing what I'm feeling and trying to figure out why and trying to figure out what to do with it. That's as true as I can be at this point. I hurt, I'm lonely, I'm desperate, I'm scared for the future. Sometimes I have good days, but that's real. That's true, that's who I am. That's me right now. I don't know what to do with it. Would it be better to squash it all down? To fake it till you make it? So much of what I've read says no. My therapist is about recognizing where you're at and then accepting it and moving forward. And I'm trying. I feel like I want to throw up. And then I think about her and I think she's just breezing in her little convertible. Got back from her horse riding trip and now la la la. I know when I go to the barn, I feel okay. That's become part of my world. I like to go there because I feel okay when I'm there. But I think the issue is I just feel okay because I don't live at the barn. So what I need to do, or what I hope I can do, is expand that out. I know a place I can go to feel okay, but how can I be okay? How can I live in a place where I'm okay? And maybe today we'll shed some light on that. Talking about the condo, talking about finances, making sense of money, knowing whether or not mediation will work, or I'll have to hire an attorney. Maybe that's the good that will come out of this, because there's so many unknowns that I've just been simmering in for a long time. Just going day to day as she moves forward and waiting. So maybe, you know, the prep I've done and the anxiety and the stress and all this, maybe it'll give way to a little bit of clarity, even if it's scary, so I can leave thinking, okay, this is what it'll look like for the next 2.25 years. Or, okay, I have to pay for the past couple months I was in the condo, which doesn't seem fair, but at least I know. Okay, this is going to get uglier and I need to call my attorney. Perhaps movement in any direction will be better than waiting. I mean, I know she's moved, like, she keeps making moves and bigger moves, and apparently a really far away move soon. Thank you for hanging out with me. I know this isn't the most fun thing. I don't even know how I'll edit this footage down to be something interesting or storytelling, but thank you for just being present. You've helped my mind be a little bit better. You've helped me express myself in a really, really anxious situation. I'm sure I'll be talking to you after this is all over. Keep your fingers crossed for me, okay? Thanks. Well, hi. I am leaving mediation. That was a 3-hour-long mediation session. 3 hours sitting next to my wife. You know what I can tell you? Hanging out with her is really good for me because it's pretty unpleasant to be around her. Doesn't feel good. She is, let me put some words to that. I think that would be useful in the future when I inevitably get sad again. When I first got there, she was already there. I came in and sat down and I said hi. I asked how the horse trip was because that's what you do, you know, you be social. And she said something curt, like it was great, super, I can't remember. She didn't make any more conversation than that. We went into the room and we began. I had a whole lot more work done than she did today. I had pretty much had my disclosures done, and for some reason, she didn't have nearly as much done as I did. It was strange. Oh, I said something to her in the lobby about this process is really terrible. Or, you know, like I was just candid. People would yell at me, and I know who would yell at me, but it's very strange to sit next to the woman I'm married to and not be conversational, not be sociable at all. You know? So I was on my way out of La Jolla and I got a text from my wife asking if we could talk for a minute. So I said, sure, let me loop around. And now she just said, I'm heading out. I'm utterly confused. Let me call her. I am driving back and I'm going to talk to her for a minute. I don't know what that will look like, if it'll be bad or not, but may as well try, right? This will be interesting. This might be bad. This might be a mistake. Wish me luck. Hopefully I'm making a smart choice. Oh, God, well that was intense. I don't even know what the hell that just was. Oh, there she is. 1, 2, 3. A few cars ahead of me. What the hell was that? Alright. So I'm back and I parked and I walked up the street and she texted that I walked past her. So I doubled back and she was sitting in a chair right by the street. So I sat down and we talked. And it was, I don't know. It was so circular and we talked about her willingness to go to therapy with me, how she's offered so many times and I never took her up on it, and mediation is not the place for that, and she was reciting back some of the things that Allison had said to her about me and my being emotional, and it's really hard for me. And I don't know, we just spun and we spun and we spun. And then somebody sat nearby and I said something about, like, you know, us having used to have been married or something. And then she was like, I'm not having this conversation in public. So she got up and started walking, so I walked with her. We couldn't find a place to go, so we went down to the parking garage and got in the car, and we just started talking. And she does all the things she does, and she gets loud and demand, like, it just went all over the place between angry her and victim her and Ken is bad and she doesn't trust me and around. It was like an hour-long in-person conversation about stuff, you know, in the nitty-gritty department. She was, you know, she's talking about feeling hamstrung by me and how I'm squeezing her dry. She doesn't have the money I think she does. And she was listing off, like, her fidelity stuff that she has. And she was like, you know, all I have is this and this. But there are other things that I know about. But it makes me crazy because the way she talks about it, she's about to pass me in 2 seconds. There she is. She's not aware. She doesn't look at other cars. I do. It makes me crazy because I don't think she's being honest. And I asked her if she's being honest. And that upset her. I probably just set myself back a bit. She is a drug. But she cried. Said she was sorry and she didn't want to hurt me. I don't know what's real. You know, I don't. I don't know if it's all manipulation. I don't know if she's crazy. But I didn't say anything I regret. I got things out that I wanted her to hear. I told her that the kid thing was hard. I told her that my want was really just to be with her. And that I would have done that with her. And we would have been good. There she is, right there. Right. Right there. On the phone. Texting. Not looking left or right. Oh, she's laughing. She doesn't look upset anymore. I'm upset and she's texting. Singing. Driving. Going home to her boyfriend who she wants to have babies with. Goodbye. I don't know how to make sense of this. I'm upset and I'm all over the place. I don't know what that was. We cried and hugged. Maybe it was too much. I don't know. I still feel like I'm being manipulated. She reiterated things like she doesn't know why this happened. She didn't mean to fall in love with somebody else. There's somebody outside my window. 2 people. Spooky. I will miss window washers when I leave. Hey, I'm just checking in real quick. Had a couple phone calls after I got home and sort of post-game to process with people, and I guess that was good. It leaves me feeling kind of weird. You know, I've been taking notes and thinking a lot about the conversation we had in the car, and it was just all over the place, you know, oscillating between her telling me, you know, I'm an adult, I should learn to fend for myself. The lifestyle we had was due just to her generosity. So the fact that she took her generosity away, I'm not entitled to anything. She cried for a while and said she was sorry, she never meant to hurt me. Like, it went all over the place, and I can't tell what's genuine and what's just trying to control me. It's kind of a tough thing. I am headed over to meet a friend for a drink. I'm not sure it's the wisest move because I'm not in the best place, and this is somebody I haven't really hung out socially with too much. I hope it goes okay. I hope it's not a mistake, but I just thought I need to get out of the house. I'm like 50-50. Like, I don't know if this is a good idea or not. I'm shaky. I listened to thought a bunch about the conversation I had with her, and it just goes all over the place between angry and defensive and aggressive and apologetic, and I'm so torn. I want to believe in her. Period. But yeah, see, I can feel it emotionally. I'm kind of a disaster. I hope I'm a good conversationalist. And I saw a woman in my building I know out walking with another woman, and I thought the other woman was pretty. I thought she was nice and had a nice smile. And I thought, I wonder if she likes me. I don't think that was the case, but I've gotten more adept at looking at people's ring fingers. She did not have a ring on her finger. That was nice. That was really super. I went to a cool place in South Park that turned out to be a vegan restaurant. It's called Kindred. It was fun. We got drinks that were definitely on the, I definitely had one that was on the very girly side. It was very, very pink, but it was delicious. So that was cool. And conversation was great. I started by talking about my stuff, which I kind of hate to do, but I guess it's necessary at the same time just to get updated. And it was hard. You know, I struggled with keeping my composure because I'm pretty torn up about this whole thing. But then we got into talking about work stuff and books and movies and TV shows, and it was fun and nice to connect with somebody that I haven't really hung out with socially that much. Look at that, there's 4 of me. What happened today is still kind of washing over me. The reality of that really long mediation and more specifically the conversation afterwards. You know, one of the overriding themes that keeps coming over me is my wife's not ready to have an emotional conversation with me because of this fear that I'm going to gouge her in the financial process. That I'm gonna, oh, hey, how are you? That I'm gonna go after everything. That I'm gonna be cruel and vicious. Which is so not the person she knows me to be. And when I try to be reassuring on that front, oh, it's dark. It does no good. Okay, so I didn't sleep much last night trying to get all my documentation ready for today. It was hard. I was freaked out and panicked. It was terrible. Just touching back on what I was talking about before. What made today a challenge is the fact that she doesn't trust what she knows about me. And I even talked to her about that, about what's wonderful about a relationship like we had is that we trusted each other. So you don't have to put worry into, you don't have to put energy into worrying about things you don't need to worry about. She could trust that I'm honest and that I'm loyal and faithful and always advocating for her and for us. Because that's who I am. She knows that that's me. But nothing I could say could really change that. Like, that's just what she believes. And her whole assertion was that she's not ready to do any sort of emotional healing with me until the logistics are done because she doesn't trust me. Because she's freaked out that I might do something. But she's willing to go to counseling for me if it will help me. You know, if it means I might not get upset and bail on mediation. And she brought that up a couple of times, and it was weird because I at no point have bailed on mediation. I thought about it last time, but she used that back against me. Like, that's not founded. It's strange looking at her in a different light. Like, I know how she argues, and I know what her tactics are, and I know if I say something that causes her to feel a certain way, she'll react in a certain way. So it's much more predictable. She cried today, and I hugged her, and she hugged me back. And it's so weird because that was the closest thing to a connection I've had with her since this started. It gives me no hope for the future. It doesn't change anything. It just was what it was. And this whole thing is sad. And she even recognized in the car that this process sucks and it's sad. And that we'll go through life changes and lifestyle changes. And that's fine. And this is me talking about my old relationship. But we didn't have to live here in this place. We did because it was fun and wonderful. We didn't have to. We could live in a much smaller place and be okay. We could live farther afield and be okay. She told me today that the job she has here is her dream job. My job is my dream job. We both had our dream jobs and our soulmates. We lived here because it felt safe. We could find another place that feels safe. It's not a reason for the relationship to fail. We had so much good, and I don't. It was good talking to my friend tonight when she, my wife, mentioned the thing today about, having to save money if she wanted to have a baby or have kids or a family. It hit me hard. And my friend tonight was like, that was just mean. It just, and she was like gripping her fist and she was like, why did she say that? There was no reason to bring that up. It wasn't nice. She knows that it triggers you. And I tend to agree. Some people on my side might argue that my wife is so in her own head and in her own process, she doesn't even know. She's not even aware. She's just so focused on her own stuff. And I guess that's the kind explanation. She's just thinking about her own stuff and the baby thing didn't even cross her mind. And then the other camp would be, she's just mean. She's just mean and trying to affect change in me. What I think is going to happen is this. At some point this week, she'll come over and we'll talk about and make a list of dividing up things in the house. And then we'll move towards selling the house. And then I'll talk to my lawyer about the financial thing and see if I should go for spousal support or not. See if I have a case or see if I don't have a case. Some of the people I spoke to tonight think it's ridiculous, and I absolutely have a case. I just need to do this and that and this and that, and I have a case. And I'm torn at the moment because when she disclosed the money she has, I think she has it earmarked. But I also know she sent out $48,000 of it 2 days before we went to mediation. Maybe she expects to get that back from him. I don't really know. She jumped on me today when I said that my therapy was expensive. It said something about like, oh, so you can pay for therapy out of pocket and you can pay to ride, but you can't pay the mortgage. And she recognized that when she gets defensive you know, everything else gets pushed to the back burner. And I don't know, like, how do you respond to that? You know, my response is like, yes, I know that about you. It doesn't make you any more pleasant. You defend yourself against any perceived threat, regardless of whether or not you're correct and what it will do to the person you're defending yourself against and how it will impact the relationship. It's insane. I have more thinking and processing to do. I don't think it's going to be a late one for me. It's a weird position to be in, to continually reinforce something for yourself, while there, deep in my heart, is this wish for my old life back. Experiences like today continually reinforce and just make more and more concrete to me that relationship will never happen again. She's operating so out of bounds and so crazy, without any regard for anyone else, even if she's just being defensive, that will never be. And I had a nice aside with the mediator who talked about having been in a relationship in her 20s where she was engaged and the person broke up with her and got with somebody else, and how she was devastated for a year and did a lot of personal work and then finally met the man that she married, and they've been married for 20 years, and every day she's as in love with him as she ever was. And that was a good, it gives me hope. Like, there's hope for me. The flip side of that is I was every bit in love with her as I was the first day I fell in love with her. It never faded. I had that. I had the thing people strive for and want to attain. That was my life. And that thing blindsided me and cheated on me and broke up with me. And when I said today she cheated on me, she said she never cheated on me. She asserted that. When she got upset and talked about how stressed she is and how she has surgery on Friday and then will be off her feet and she's so overwhelmed and she doesn't want to have a breakdown, like a mental breakdown like she had last summer. And I said, I know. I was there with you the whole time. I took care of you. And then something else got said, and then I said to her, did you have feelings for him when we were going through that last summer? Because I think about it all the time. And her response was, this is the kind of thing we can talk about if we go to therapy. But my takeaway was, yes, I did. Damn it. She was stuck with me when she wanted to be with somebody else.